What went wrong in this game?
This opening game looked like it had everything going for it. A massive stadium, a replay of a legendary matchup that had the football world hooked 16 years ago, and all the hype you could ask for. Instead, we got advertisements during hydration breaks, one team playing miles below the required level, another barely needing to get out of second gear, and somehow 3 red cards in a single match. For context, the entire tournament in Qatar 4 years ago only had 4 red cards total. And right in the middle of all that chaos, Real Madrid decided it was the perfect time to announce Jose Mourinho's return. Then Bernardo Silva suddenly becomes a Real Madrid player after spending the last 3 years being linked with Barcelona every transfer window. And apparently the Pope has joined Madrid too. Sorry, Florentino Perez, but can you give us a minute here? There's literally a World Cup happening. Now, I'm about to say something incredibly bold here, so prepare yourselves. South Africa are not winning this World Cup. I know, shocking take. But seriously, Mexico couldn't have asked for a more comfortable opening game to get themselves going. And even though I was supporting the other side, it's impossible not to enjoy seeing the Mexican fans celebrate like that. Watching the crowd come alive and seeing everyone soak in the moment was genuinely great to watch. That's what the World Cup is supposed to feel like. The atmosphere inside that stadium must have been unbelievable for those supporters. Also, if you didn't already know, I'm doing watch-alongs for all the major matches. Had a lot of fun doing the one from a couple of hours ago. Very quick turnaround over here. I'll also be posting reaction videos for the games I watch, along with all the regular content you're used to seeing here. Let's get into the match itself, starting with South Africa. From the opening minutes, it was obvious what their plan was. They lined up with 5 defenders, barely pushed anyone forward apart from Lyle Foster and Ikram Rainers, and even when they did move up the pitch, there was almost no quality in the final third. They couldn't pick out runners, create openings, or produce anything threatening. I was about to call them dangerous players, but honestly, there weren't any dangerous players out there. Kuliso Mudau and Aubrey Modiba really struggled whenever they got forward. Crosses kept hitting the first man, and overall, the team just couldn't keep possession long enough to build any momentum. Simple passing sequences kept breaking down.
To be fair though, I think most people already knew how this game was probably going to end. Let's be honest here for a second. South Africa came into this game ranked 61st in the world, while Mexico were sitting 14th. And sure, I know rankings aren't always the perfect way to judge teams. They're based on ELO systems and a bunch of other factors, so they don't always reflect reality perfectly. Belgium were ranked number 1 in the world for like 3 straight years, and I don't think many people genuinely believed they were the best team on the planet during that time. But after watching this match, you could absolutely see what a 45-place difference in quality looks like. It was obvious. That said, Mexico didn't exactly produce some incredible performance here, they mostly just handled the fundamentals properly. The bigger issue was that South Africa struggled badly with even the simplest parts of the game. Honestly, I want to put some of it down to nerves. Playing at the Azteca Stadium, dealing with that crowd, the pressure of the occasion, maybe the intimidation factor, because I've actually seen this South African side do the basics well before. In fact, that's exactly how they qualified for the World Cup. They finished top of their qualifying group despite having 3 points deducted, and they did it in a group that included Nigeria. Although judging by this performance, that probably doesn't mean much right now. New Zealand are currently the lowest ranked team in this tournament at around 85th in the world, and honestly I'm curious to see whether they'll look more comfortable on the ball than South Africa did tonight. South Africa's 2 best players were Ronwen Williams and Siyabonga Ngizana, and that alone tells you pretty much everything about how this match went, considering one of them is the goalkeeper, the other is a center back, and they still lost 2-0. Williams did make some really impressive saves throughout the game, but he also had a couple of rough moments. I genuinely don't understand why anyone looked at this South African team and decided they should be playing out from the back against Mexico. They kept trying it over and over again. Early on, it actually worked a few times, but the second it went wrong, they were instantly punished. Sabisi in particular had an absolute nightmare. honestly, I'm struggling to imagine anyone having a worse performance in this tournament. First, he gives the ball away for the opening goal, and then later he takes down Brian Gutierrez as the last defender and gets himself sent off. Like, seriously, if you wanted an early flight home, there were probably easier ways to make that happen. And yes, I know I'm being harsh, but it's only because I care. Mexico, meanwhile, never really looked fully in rhythm, but they still had more than enough quality to create chances and comfortably get the result. In midfield, they were rarely troubled, and every time they attacked down the wings, South Africa looked completely stretched. They were pulling defenders out of position constantly and opening space all over the pitch. Honestly, Mexico probably should have scored even more. Julian Quiñones was definitely one of the standout players. He got his goal, looked dangerous throughout the first half, and was involved in a lot of Mexico's better moments. And by the way, in case anyone forgot, he was the top scorer in the Saudi Pro League this season. Even then, he still probably should have ended the game with at least 2 more goals. Raul Jimenez deserves credit as well. I thought he finished his goal nicely, and just like Quiñones, he probably could have added more to his tally too. And on top of all that, you have to remember that Raul Jimenez fractured his skull in the Premier League around 6 years ago. Fast forward to now, and he's coming off the bench at a World Cup to score a second goal in front of his home fans and help seal the win. I mean, if we're being honest, the result already looked wrapped up at that point, but still, it's an incredible moment. It's just a genuinely great story. Eric Lira also deserves a lot of credit. His pressing was what created the first goal in the first place. Alright, now let's get into the referee and all the madness that followed. For most of the match, I actually thought he handled things pretty well. I even mentioned that during the stream before the cards started coming out non-stop. The first red card was absolutely the correct decision. Last man situation. If the referee doesn't give that, people are asking serious questions afterward. The second red card looked fair to me at first too, but after seeing the replay a few times, I think there's definitely room for debate. Roberto Alvarado backs into him while Zwan is trying to get around, and although there is contact, I'm not fully convinced there was intent behind it. Still, it looked ugly in real time. Then we get to the third red card, and honestly, I just don't understand it. You're already 2 goals ahead and playing against 9 men. Why even put yourself in that position? But for the same reason as the first sending off, I think this one was probably a red card as well. Overall though, this was a pretty comfortable night for Mexico. They looked solid enough, but I wouldn't say this match really tested them in any meaningful way. I still have questions about how they'll look against stronger opposition later in the tournament, but right now, they already seem to have 1 foot in the next round. At this point, even a draw in one of the remaining games might be enough, although you'd still expect them to pick up at least 1 more win in this group. As for South Africa, if you want to be generous, you can probably put some of this performance down to nerves or the pressure of the occasion. That's fair enough. But once those 2 red cards happened, it became really difficult to convince yourself there's a realistic path back into this tournament for them. After just 1 match, they already look like they could be in serious trouble. Then again, I'm recording this literally moments before the South Korea versus Czechia match kicks off, so maybe after seeing those teams play, my opinion changes a little. Anyway, that's the opening game wrapped up. And outside the football itself, the chaos surrounding this World Cup just keeps getting bigger. The politics around the tournament are completely spiraling. More supporters are reportedly being denied visas after spending massive amounts of money on travel and tickets. Trump has already said he won't attend the USA opener. Meanwhile, Gianni Infantino is out there telling everyone to calm down despite fans having very legitimate concerns about a tournament that's supposed to bring the world together, while in some cases making it difficult for parts of the world to even attend. It's all getting pretty bizarre. Then you've got the whole situation with the Somali referee who was reportedly stopped, questioned, and sent back after arriving in the United States. And just to add context here, this is a referee who won African Referee of the Year in 2025. Apparently, the explanation was that he shared the same name as a leader of an extremist group, which somehow led authorities to believe that this extremist leader had apparently decided to train as a football referee, work his way up through the ranks, get selected for a FIFA tournament, and then enter the country pretending to officiate matches as part of some secret operation. Only for border officials to basically go, actually, never mind, you can head back home now. It's just bizarre, isn't it? Although in response to everything, it looks like UEFA has offered him the chance to referee the Super Cup, which honestly feels like a very easy PR win for them. Meanwhile, everything else around the tournament somehow continues as if this is all completely normal. At the same time, you've also got moments like that South Korean fan getting absolutely showered with love by everyone around them. And honestly, that's the kind of stuff you love seeing during a World Cup. So there we are. Opening match completed. There's going to be a ton of content throughout this tournament, so if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely do that. I'll catch you all again tomorrow for Brazil versus Morocco. That's it from me today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you're all having a great day.